Microphone was off. We're off to a good start. It wouldn't be an outside insider stream without some kind of technical difficulty, but we're back. Thank you again for being patient while my body clock gets semi back on course. But we are here today to finally break down some Eagles draft prospects. Now, I'll admit my draft coverage has been a little bit slower than I'd like at this time of year. So I'm relying on you guys to feed me some juicy names so I can build out my big board. We can break down some prospects live on stream over the next couple of weeks in the lead up to the 2025 NFL draft. So the Eagles, after a pretty flamboyant free agency period, do still have a few holes, notably offensive line depth. They've got some potential, not issues is the wrong word. They need some more depth at the interior defensive line spots after losing Milton Williams. The edge spot notably is absolutely going to be a spot of focus. And you've also got some potential outliers at both safety and cornerback, depending on your confidence levels on guys like Keely Ringo and some of the other players having lost Isaiah Rodgers and Darius Slay. I would say James Bradbury. I don't think that constitutes a loss to free agency. So we're going to get into some players today. We're going to start with one man in particular. I'll show you my big board very soon. Hello, CMV Eagles. Nice to see you in the stream. And again, we'll be streaming for this week on the channel. Will be Monday and Wednesday. I won't be able to stream Friday. It's my 30th birthday next week, so I'm away in London this weekend to celebrate that. But then the week after that, I'll be back to normal. So as I'm getting old, the hair's going. Unfortunately, there'll be a little bit of a hit in the live streams, but we are going to kick things off very soon. So, right, let's get to this. This is YouTube, as you can see. That's where I'll be breaking down the tape. And this is a big board that we've got. I figured we'll start with one prospect. I've started building out just a few different ways. For those that aren't familiar with my, I would say, scouting process. I don't know if I wouldn't call it that. I'm not some sort of like Burry level genius. But I tend to try and do everything out of 50 and then grade different core elements of play that the Eagles value out of 10 and then build a board based off of that. So for instance, if we look at defensive tackle, you've got pass rushing moves. For that, when you're looking at collegiate level players, it's more the variety of pass rush moves. So I think especially in like the 3rd to 5th to 7th round, like the drop off is insane. And you end up with guys that literally only have a club or only have a rip. They don't have a lot of versatility in their back pocket yet. But is there enough on show for you to be confident? And that's where that grade comes from. The get off speaks for itself. It's just how quick can you get off the line and begin to penetrate the offensive front. Your motor is just the effort throughout a drive. I think that's more visible, if I'm honest, when watching, a game of highlights rather than just one play. Anyone can watch one sack and say a player's got a high motor. Is he able to sustain that momentum throughout an entire game? Then power and agility kind of speak to themselves. That's where you're going to find the differences between Jalen Carter and Milton Williams, for instance, with Williams being more agile than powerful and the other way around. And what you end up with is just a total out of 50. So we're going to start off with Shamar Turner. And we'll see how we go. But if you guys, again, do have any prospects that you want me to look at, please drop them in the chat. And we're going to start building this out over the next few weeks. And we'll end up with a big board. We'll do some live mock drafts and all of that good stuff. So we're going to start off with Shamar Turner. See if we can do some tape. I figured Turner's a good start just because I like going through defensive linemen and defensive players more than offensive ones, outside like receivers, which I always seem to get wrong anyway. But also, I have a weird affinity for Texas A&M players, so there's that. Is there just I can't remember what you search to normally find like the college film room stuff. Here we go. So that'll work. So we're watching them against Notre Dame here. Obviously, a very good Notre Dame team. You're looking for number 5 on your screen. So I'm not sure how much you guys can see of this. Does it show up all right on your screen, hopefully? All right, let me know. We've got Walter Nolan, says Birdbrain. Let's quickly add him in. What position does he play? What college? Let's quickly get him in. I can fill that out later, to be fair. No rush on that one. DT big board for me. Derek Harmon, Walter Nolan, JJ Pogues, Derek Harmon. Let's get Derek Harmon in. So I guess we'll just start with defensive tackles then, I suppose. DT Ole Miss, Walter Nolan. Cool. Is there any? Oh, JJ Pogue, wasn't it? JJ Pege. Would you go with JJ? DT. So these are all defensive tackles, which makes my life. I've just lost my sheet. There it is. No, where have I put that? Oh, there it is. We're starting off strong. Right, we've got a second player to look at, so that's already there. That's nice. So if we go to here, then we're looking for number 5. Initial get up is good. Bit of a double team. We'll watch the rep again. We've only got 12 minutes of content here, so we have to kind of be a little bit, more intricate with the analysis. Not much you can do there on a quick pass out of the flat. Harmony's Oregon. Cool. I'll get that in a second for you, my friend. Thank you. I love the little... Talking of double teams, you two are double teaming with the analysis here. I like it. Another one for a short pass over the middle. Can't really get much off it. Where are we to here? He's now on the other side, which is kind of worth noting. Same gap, but just opposite side. Does make the stop there. So let's just slow this one down. Kind of gets upended. Battles through. I think the offensive lineman loses a bit of momentum. Through the fullback... and then to get a hand on the ball carrier. That's impressive. I like that. Watch it again at kind of full speed so you can see. Just kind of slips over and under 2 players. I watch it again. Just like to go over the offensive lineman, then past the fullback and into the ball carrier. That's a good rep. Very good rep. I like that. Now, was he a defensive end on that play? Was he? He was on the outside, wasn't he? Yeah. Over the C gap, just trying to set the edge. Tried to get a hand up to deflect the pass. I like that as well. That's quite nice. This one, double teamed again. Can't really do much from that. Now that's interesting. Like as easy as it would be to write off double team reps, if you look at how someone like Jalen Carter is dealt with by NFL offensive lines, where there are a ton of, situations where he is double teamed. There's a ton of times where triple teamed on occasion. You're going to have to be ready for a lot of that if you are going to be one of the top defensive tackles to come out of this class. So that's worth noting. Now, I don't think, from what I understand, that Turner is graded as a first-round selection. However, it's something to be wary of, or just be, keep an eye on. Now, I think once he does get into open space, we start to see a little bit more from him. So you can see him here. Try and get back and look at that again. Yeah, it breaks off the block really nicely. Makes his way to the ball. So I think when he's in like an ISO matchup, or he's able to actually get off a block, he's quite explosive and can get to the ball carrier quite nicely. The worry is, if he is struggling with double teams at this level, NFL ones might hurt him a little bit. So whether that's functional play strength, I don't know what size he is, but he's certainly not on the heavier side of things. But you can see he gets off quite nicely. That is like a bit of a size mismatch there as he goes up against the tackle. So he's going up against the left tackle. So the tackle swings out to block him. And he's still able to kind of keep leverage, shrug it off, and then move the hands away from him. The core's there. But I do want to see a bit more. I'm not expecting him to win double team rep after double team rep. But at the same time, if this is happening now, it's only going to get worse at the NFL. And you've got to be sort of aware of that. So we get another rep here. Yeah, really not much going on that for a quick dump pass over the top. By the way, Ole Miss is this year's Georgia defense loaded with talent. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I'll definitely keep that in mind. So again, scrapes quite nicely. Now, did he get the ball carrier then, or was the ball carrier further up the field? I think the ball carrier is... No, he did get the ball carrier, I think. Hang on. Let's go back again. One more. There we go. Right. So I think the quarterback takes it on an option. Yeah. So the quarterback's got the ball, number 13. No, okay, he just falls over. All right. I thought there was like a heroic play then from him, but I don't think there was. I've not seen anything in the way of an actual like pass rushing move yet. I like that he's very... Okay, I say I like. I can't tell if I like it or not. But very hesitant with contact from a blocking level. Like, he's happy to sit back. Something like this. Like, look at the attention he's getting. He's got 3 guys on him. You don't want to overcommit and just get yourself washed out of the play. So he's sitting... The awareness is there, I think, as to how he's being treated. So he puts himself just a little bit further back, draws the attention, and that is a very Fletcher Cox-esque trait. If you look at then the pressure that's otherwise generated, like that is huge. And that all stems from the fact you've got 3 guys here accounting for 1, if not 2 players. So that is certainly something worth noting. Just his presence is a factor. But in terms of how you use that is what's going to separate you from being, you know, a mid-round pick to a day one selection. Don't think he's on the field for that one. We'll get to a comment. Turner is off my board. Lock up unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. It's kind of unusual. I saw something when I searched his name that there were like punches thrown. So we'll watch it. But then again, we are talking about, not that the players ever did anything outside of Carter, but, you know, the Eagles, Georgia Bulldogs, their history of concerns. We'll have a look. We'll look at that play afterwards, because I've tried to purposely not mention it, because I want to grade the player, and then we can kind of look at defects and if he's even worth drafting, you know, in the first place. But I want to be as level as I can with it first. Because if he's a great player and he's just had maybe one bad day at the office, if it's a continuous thing and he's doing it every game, then maybe it's, you know, something worth noting. But if it was just a one-time thing, maybe as an explanation for it, maybe he would view that differently and explain that differently to coaches at the combine and such. So I'll try and be as impartial as I can with it, but he's not on the field at the minute, which is also great. Is he on the field there? There we go. Right, he's back. Cool. Into a double team again, move back a little bit. Doesn't get knocked off his feet, but not a positive play. That was a bit better. That's actually a little bit of... I don't know. It's another one, I think, again, where the lineman's just lost his placement. I don't think he's actually shown anything outside of having a bit of power to him. He's not a pass rushing defensive tackle from what I would see here. And I might be wrong. This is one game. Like, I like the hustle. I like the motor. I like that he can get around the field and make plays and make stops and, you know, often locks into the ball carrier, whether it's in the backfield or further out. I don't think you're looking at an Aaron Donald, a Jalen Carter, a Fletcher Cox, a player that is just going to be, you know, Dexter Lawrence, someone that is just going to be a manic presence in the backfield, because I don't think he's got that in him. I mean, the hand usage there is good. I think we need to see a second game. We're absolutely going to need to see a second game, because I think there's too many double teams here to really get a read on him. But it's also concerning that he's not really... that was a bit better, but it again runs into traffic. Okay, so this one here, he kind of goes from one blocker into the arms of another in the safety, but he does get off that first one, which I think is important. So the hands go underneath, swats them away, which is kind of his just go-to move here. Keeps his pad level nice, but... does he hustle to the side? He does. Lucky the play doesn't go anywhere, but, you know, alas. What's up, Greg? Nice to see you in the chat, my friend. I'm not blown away. I feel like this is a very... I don't know. In terms of, you know, putting a draft grade on him. All I know is that in a PSN mock draft, he was like mid-round. And I would be honestly looking a little bit lower than that based off this game alone. But, I mean, there he gets knocked on his ass by a double team. I won't hold that against him. But the hands are frantic early. And then when they land, that's sort of it. And it's like having a, you know, it's having a cake with no icing on, I think. He's got something. He's got it there. It's just, can he get to that next level? Can he take that next step? Maybe add some moves to his arsenal, that sort of thing. Like, he's quite limited. And I think the lack of size is going to potentially hurt him at the next level. Again, if double teams literally nullify him here against Notre Dame, you can only wonder what, even one against someone like the Raiders, is going to do to him. You know, it's just a different level entirely. So I'm going to be critical of that. And I'll see, okay, so like this is a bit better. We actually see movement. So pulls the lineman down again and is able to then just dart towards, but can't make traction. Can't get off the block. So at that point, you've got to finish that rep, to me. Like, you've got to finish that rep and get inside. And he just can't get his feet moving forwards, and he's being pushed out the... It's a great rep by the offensive lineman, but ideally you'd want to see a bit more from a player. That was good. Good little burst. Didn't quite work out. Took a gamble. Tried to go straight over. Nice swim over the top. Something we haven't seen from him yet up to this point. But shoots his load a bit prematurely and ends up paving a hole for the running back. It's a costly play. Good instincts, good execution, just lacked that finishing touch, and it ultimately cost the team a few yards there. But it's nice to know there's something, because until this point, it has been very null and void, I would say. Let's try and skip through to see where he's back on the field. I think he's been subbed out. He's back in this one. So here we go. Puts his arm up. Did he get that one? Was that him? Yeah, okay. Oh, see, okay, right. This is an interesting one. Quarterback hands the ball off. Number 5's there. It's still 1-on-1. 4 comes in, and he's still being, this is an ISO one now, shoved out the way of it. My initial instinct watching him is Milton Williams without the agility. Like, if Milton Williams didn't move like a cornerback, this is what he would be. And I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if this is a limited sample size or just a bad game. I'm not seeing anything close to, oh my God, the Eagles need this guy. This is the most bang average start to a scouting session I think I've ever had. There's been a few glimpses of some nice things, but nowhere near enough to, like, that was a bit better. There's a little bit of fight there with the hands into a double team, swims over the top, has to take another block, still stays on his feet and ends up crashing the pile. That's a bit better. That's the closest rep, again, closest rep there we've seen to an actual pass rush. And you're not grading him as a pass rusher if he isn't a pass rusher. I get it. But when you built that kind of lean, I think he should be in the conversation. And here is able to generate momentum and get sideways, and it's just too much. And again, you're washed out of the play. And if you watch what the other defensive tackle does right next to him, well, to be fair, he drops into coverage. So you're looking at the guy on the outside. He does get a bit more leverage, but it's just no icing. There's no finish. And look, this is my first time seeing it. If I'm wrong or someone has got an opinion on Shamar Turner and whether or not he's going to be a good fit for the Eagles, whether or not they should be taking a look at him outside of the unsportsmanlike conduct incident, which we'll get to, please let me know, because I can't tell if I'm being too harsh. I did it before last year on Nate Wiggins, and I was very, very bearish. I still am bearish. I don't think he's anywhere near the level of Quignon or most other corners in that draft. I think he was drastically overrated. But I'm just not seeing anything here, really. Like, we're 8 minutes in, and I've not had one play that's made me want to go back and watch to, respect the brilliance. I've had plays where I want to go back and see if there was anything remotely, flashy that I can cling to. Like there, the burst and the actual get-off was good. If you paused there, he might have the most full momentum of any player on that defensive line. Then he gets into a block and he can't really disengage it properly because he doesn't have that next level. He doesn't have the moves to do it. Moved a bit quickly there. Like, he's got something. I don't think it's what the Eagles need. If you want to replace Milton Williams and he's available in the 5th, 6th round, yeah, I'll be like, I understand it. He's kind of built the same, lacks a little bit of the explosiveness that Williams does, but there's something there. There's a reason he's being double and triple teamed most of this game. We actually got a sack here, so we can, talk about one play positively at least. Or a TFL. I'm assuming it's a tackle for a loss looking at it, yeah. Sheds a block, maintains leverage, brings him to, yeah, nice. Good play. Good play. There you go. I mean, that's the first, in inverted commas, good play. One that really stands out as a significantly good play that he's had this game. In my opinion, again, if I'm wrong, if there are any Shamar truthers here, or there's anyone that please disagree with me, because I need, educated on these guys. I've not watched them. I don't watch a ton of college football, and all of my knowledge comes from CFB 24. So my scouting process, I always see it like Christmas. This is when I can start diving in and having a look around and evaluating these players. But there's not a lot of, I'm just not seeing it. Better strength, but again, just completely taken out of the play. I honestly can't work out if I'm being too critical. But we'll try and find a second game for him because to me, it's just not there. Greg says Milton Williams' frame is light but not small, which comes with double-edged sword of assuming a player will consistently progress or evaluating him off who he was in film in 2020. He's a freak athlete on paper who transitioned to athleticism to Conference USA production in college. But he may take a year or two in the NFL system to manage the jumping competition. Is this Turner you're on about, the bottom one? He may take a year or two in the NFL. I can see that. Look, I could see the upside there. I can get that if you get him under the right coach and he can develop and learn and add some things to his arsenal, that he's going to be a player. Like something like that. That's another good play. That's the second one that stood out. Right? Again, another swim over the top. Nice agility to chase that ball carrier up and around the pocket and to bring him down. That's a really, really strong play. What's confusing me is there's a reason, again, he's being double and triple teamed. I just can't see what it is because he's not doing anything. Like, it's not like they've left him in ISOs and he's got himself into trouble or caused absolute chaos. Oh, Milton in the draft before the Eagles got... Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. First impressions aren't overly impressive. Let's go for the unsportsmanlike conduct because I'm intrigued. Oh, it's 8 minutes. Oh, don't say it's 8 minutes. Oh no. No, this might write him off. I thought it was an isolated incident. No one told me there was an 8-minute video of him being a menace to society. What's going on here? Oh, okay. Oh, I see. There's audio and okay. The fact there's 8 minutes that kind of tells me the short will do. All right. What in the WWE have I just witnessed here? I'm absolutely speechless. I don't know what to say. All right, okay. Well, he might knock some points off for that. Why is he? Who said he's a must-watch prospect? What am I missing here? Is this going to play audio for me? Why is it not playing audio? I think maybe it's because I'm streaming or something. But I can't get audio. Oh, you have to think he's going to put on a little more. You can't just. Oh, it's there. Right. Okay. Hold on. Let's just watch this. Let me see what Matey Boy's saying here. And Dominican Sue. Yeah, I get that.
These are things that I write down and I just kind of keep, on the grading sheet, on the scouting sheet. But on the field, he's violent and twitchy. Those are the two words that kept coming to my mind.
Well, he's violent. He's definitely violent.
He's the kind of guy that will display blockers when he gets both his hands on them. So I like to see him in other defensive.
Who is this talking?
300, 350 pounds behind them, knocking defenders back because of that speed.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I think he's at the very least he's going to have to bulk up. Let's just. It's more Notre Dame stuff. I've just watched this. Can we not? I'm not watching that again. Awful game. Right, we're going to watch a bit of this. This is just his basic highlights. Just want to get a better read. The upside isn't worth that attitude. No, I completely agree. I mean, he makes Jalen Carter looks like me. Why isn't that playing? Come on. Oh, don't die on me now. YouTube. There we go. Right. Here we go. Let's do it again. Walton Nolan splits and fights off double teams. He has a range of motor to make plays in pursuit. Right. I tell you what, we'll do Walter Nolan next because it has to be better than whatever this is because I'm just not seeing it. This is the most like. Oh yeah, he fell over. Yeah. Why is that in his highlights? He fell over. Very upright in his stance. The only overwhelmingly positive thing I can say is that he's got a really good football IQ in terms of when to sit back, when to attack. Like he's not all out foot on the gas all the time. He's very selective of when he turns it on. The only issue is when he turns it on like how high does that meter go? Something like that's good, but he almost lost the ball carrier, so worrying a bit. Washed out of that one. I don't know why that's a highlight. Better, couldn't get the ball. See, I don't get why these are highlights. I mean, this is just a bunch of random plays where that was better. Not brilliant, but better. That's better in terms of a move. But again, all he's got is that swim. There's just not. To be fair, Greg, it took, 8 years for Derek Barnett to learn how to spin in a circle, which is the joke I tend to reuse quite a lot in these streams. Right, I think I've seen enough. There's nothing here for me. This is not a player I'm drafting. After that, like, if you would have to be like Jalen Carter-esque talented to look past the fact there's an 8-minute video of you being a dirty player. Like, that's better. That was the best rep I think I might have seen out of him. It looks a bit more speedy from the All-22, but yeah, it's just a bit mid, isn't it? It's just a bit mid. There's not enough here for me to pull a trigger on. I'm just not seeing it. Oh, he's got a bit of bend. Right, moving to defensive end, and maybe we can have a conversation. But as a defensive tackle, I think he's just gonna. That was good, but I think that was yeah, in fairness, I have no idea what that lineman was doing, but good rep. 2 Iowa prospect harmonies. Right, okay. Right, let's get some other ones then. So let's quickly grade out Shamar Turner. We'll do it together. Okay, Shamar Turner's pass rushing moves, but bear in mind these are out of 10. 3.5. Doesn't have any. He's got a swim and that's it. A get off. Let's be fair. 6.5. I don't think it's great. I think it's a bit more than good, a bit more than average. Motor is probably the best thing he's got. Power lacking. Agility is probably up there. And now I just got to quickly put a formula in to add it up because I can't do maths. And that's 30.5 out of 50. So bear in mind, it doesn't always work like that. But if you were to say 50 is going to be your first round, like top 10 pick, 20 is going to be like round 6, 7. This puts in like round 4, 5 max. So, it's probably that. Let's do Walter. Is it Walter Nolan? I almost said Nolan Ryan, and that definitely isn't right. Walter Nolan. Let's have a look. Let's see what we're cooking here. Here we go. A full game, Kentucky 2024. Right. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Is he going to? What's going on here? This isn't a full game. Get to the game. Get what? Right. Oh, that was an intro. There was no audio. I apologize. The 80% of our prospects are too high. Such a hard draft to predict. I have seen that this draft is apparently really tough. Like there's like the first 10 prospects, and then it is just sludge. So that is in my mind. Right, see, even that, the first rep, I know that, Kentucky isn't exactly Notre Dame here, but look at how he handles it. Look at the space he takes up. The space he takes up with a double team. That's important. That clogs a lane. That one rep in, and that's already an improvement, simply because he's bigger. It's not rocket science. Like that. That's better. I mean, sure, the running back still got through. It's not the point I'm making. It's just an observation. Another double team, continues fighting, efforts there. Almost made a tackle there, not quite. Can't expect him to do it every play, obviously. But now he's lined up over the center, cuts inside. But that better bit of pressure. There's already way more penetration here. And look at how much further back he starts. So he actually starts way further back and is able to actually generate more momentum than most of the other people on the defensive line. So if you look, outside of it, even there, He's done all right to get off that block in a pinch. How he always works inside out. Very good point. Yeah, it doesn't fill me with confidence. Like normally by now we've heard a lot about one or two prospects that really fit the Eagles, and there just hasn't been any. I think Tate Ratledge is the only name that stands out. Just because one of the guys that I know is pretty plugged in and said that the Eagles are really high on him. And then one of the PSN writers said something similar, and then another PSN writer mocked him. So I'm thinking there might be some stuff that I'm yet to watch any of his tape mind. But I mean, that was a better rep. Forces the QB outside, and it's a nil point gain. Don't mind it at all. Yeah, there's a bit more malice in the play here. There's a bit more malice in the play. Yeah, good. Okay, I'm already way higher on this than I am with Shamar Turner. Look at that. Very nice. Patient, assertive when needed. Gets the job done. See, that's the difference. Look at him battle through a double team there, man. It's like someone out of a horror movie. So here's Johnny just pushing his way through. That's really good. That is 10 times better. Now, again, I have no awareness as to which of these prospects have been graded higher, like who's on big boards where like national analysts are ranking them. Like I've not paid any attention to draft stuff. So this is whatever I'm watching is my first impression of the player. And I would say this is light years ahead. And off basic math, if he's going to grade out a lot higher than Turner, and Turner I would say is like a 5th round pick, this has to be first or second. Because this is night and day. The hustle's better, the burst is better, the power's more impactful. There's a bit more finesse to him, weirdly, despite being a bigger body. Like I think this is a much better, much more well-rounded prospect. And you can see, look at that. He's just driven someone into the ground there. Tremendous. Yeah, this is good. This is really, really good. Cuts underneath on that swim move there for the defensive end to come inside. And just look at the constant momentum into the chest. I just did a mock draft on my channel. My first 2 picks were Nolan and Ratledge. Interesting. This is the 100% first or at least top 35 pick. Okay, so all right. So I like that at least within the first 2 players that we've evaluated, we found a stinker and someone that is very clearly, a first or a second round talent. Because, yeah, to me, that's obvious. Like this is night and day above what we just saw from Shamar Turner. Just everything about him stands out infinitely more. Obviously, I mean, we'll get to the end of the game. I don't think it's one of them, but once you just know he's first round, and I think what you're saying might help because if it is top 35, the Eagles might have a shout knowing where they're drafting now, having won the Super Bowl. Just a brief reminder, the Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Another good place from him there. That, it doesn't really matter. You're not really looking at first round prospects. You're looking at second and a few fallers. And if Walter Nolan, let's say, is roughly 26, 27 and he falls down or there's an opportunity to come up, that's the sort of player that should be on the Eagles' radar. And yeah, you can just see why. Like the difference between him and Shamar Turner is actually kind of scary. And if that's the level this draft steeps to, I'm not overly convinced this is going to be... Look, the Eagles are stacking up draft picks. I wouldn't be surprised or if it was me and the draft class is that bad. I've not, again, watched these prospects. If there is a big drop-off in talent, just sell them or just trade them away and end up getting yourself like some guys in their final rookie year, some guys that are like, 23, 24, maybe an undrafted free agent from a year ago, kind of on the edge of a roster bubble, but might have some upside. That's where Howie works his magic and just stockpile assets for 2026 and beyond, which in fairness, he has started doing. Like that 2026 war chest is looking absolutely sublime. But if there's nothing tickling your pickle, then you don't have to tickle it. It's that simple. The only reason he's not top 15 is there reports of immaturity. Yeah, that's fair. If it hasn't been a global consensus, then maybe it is just someone putting words out there, or maybe it's a certain agent or a certain source or something like that. But again, like we're talking about an environment he'd be going into, hypothetically at least, where you're now getting a real sense of security and structure, I would say, more than anything. Like if someone like Jalen Carter can thrive, and don't get me wrong, Carter has had glimpses where there's been problems or he gets a little bit too emotional and he has to be reined in. Like that's still there, but you've got a very, very young group that is really turned into a great young leadership core. Like there are some really strong players on that defense. And given the Georgia culture that's bled over, given the amount of guys that have established a core through the chemistry that they built in college, it's probably a great environment. And let's not forget the defensive line coach has just worked absolute wonders over the last couple of years to bring someone like Nolan Smith up, to bring Jalen Carter to his best, to still get the best out of Brandon Graham, for Josh Sweat to do what he's done. Jalix Hunt in his rookie season has been brilliant. So I think there is absolutely a reason to look past that if you believe in the players and the coaches that you have. And I don't think the Eagles have a reason to doubt that, just based off the fact that they're Super Bowl champions and have done so having taken gambles on players with some similar concerns before. Immaturity is a weird one, because I think it depends on what kind of immaturity. Are we talking like, and that's the only thing with scout reports, and because they're so subjective and can be quite vague, like they're often a way to say something without really saying anything at all. Are we talking immaturity in terms of the way he approaches the game? Is it the way he approaches life? Is it the way he approaches money? Does he sit in meetings going, like, what kind of immaturity are we talking about? And I think there's a difference between a player that's immature on the practice field to a player that's immature in meetings. And that might not sound like a lot, but if you've got a player that isn't soaking up information, doesn't really want to be there, is a bit lazy, that's different from a player that is doing all of the hard work and then he gets to the practice field and he's just kind of coasting. That one you can absolutely be coached into, you can be bullied into, but that willingness to learn, you can't teach that. You either are a student of the game and you love the game of football, or you don't, and you just kind of go, yeah, it's all right. And there's such a big difference there. So that's where I think it's going to come down to scouts to really work out what sort of player he is. But from a physical standpoint, yeah, he's brilliant. I mean, I've seen enough already, to be honest with you. I don't think there's much more that we can see in this game that's going to change my opinion on him. He's clearly a first-round selection to me. So, immature is more from his time at A&M. Look at Kenneth Grant, Michigan. I'll tell you what, right, we'll add him in now. I've seen enough of this. I think we can all make a solid grade here that he's much better. So let's add him to our school here. And you want me to look at who was the player, sorry? Grant, Michigan. Oh, Kenneth Grant from Michigan. All right. We'll add him. We've probably got enough time for one more player this stream. I was hoping to do a 2-hour stream tonight. That's why my ear is really playing up. But my body clock is still absolute toast at the minute, so it might be a 1-hour one tonight. We'll try and do a longer one Wednesday, and then Friday. Obviously, as I said, I'm not here, but I should be back Monday to really lock in and go again. Oh, I don't know what is going on in my ear. It's not nice. Right, grades. Pass rush moves immediately like a 7.5. I would say immediately a 7.5. The thing is, with a defensive tackle, like you're not expecting him to move like a defensive end and to have an arsenal of moves. You just want enough variety to get off of double teams, to move blocks back, to just navigate different parts of the football field, essentially. Like how do you approach going over the C gap as you do over the A gap, or the B gap over the A gap? Can you leverage a tackle as the same way you would a center or a guard or whatever? And I think that there's a good variety there. The get off's probably about 7. The motor, I think, is really impressive, like 8.5, maybe 9. Power, probably again about an 8.5. Agility, probably an 8. And if we can bring that formula down, 39.5, which is interesting because that to me isn't blown away. Like going off of previous years when I've done this, I mean, a devout, like, top 15 pick is going to be 45-50 or 45-48. I think we're around a 50. So 39 is like, feels a bit low. And again, I mean, this isn't a draft Bible, right? Like, these grades aren't going to be what NFL teams use. They're just kind of a way for me to try and evaluate what I would see as opportunities. Like, I know it's a bad example, but John Hightower, I had him graded higher than most other receivers in that draft class. That was worth a punt. That was absolutely worth a punt, because if he turned out the way the Eagles and I thought he would, that's a steal of a lifetime. He didn't. That's okay. But if you've got, someone that's like a 6th round pick and they're grading out like a 2nd or 3rd based on what you're seeing on film, to me, that's at least a reason to do some more digging rather than, what their PFF score is, for instance. So there's some awful scouting reports going around this year on a couple of players. Josh Simmons from Ohio State was literally called a bundle of twigs. Ooh, okay. You don't have to look at JJ Pogues. He's just huge. Day 3 pick that plays football, plays fullback, 9 rushing touchdowns. I know Harbaugh is a Michigan man. He's looking elsewhere, but my boy Harmon. All right, let's do Harmon. You've got a draft crush. I'm a sucker for a draft crush. All right, you know me. I get them more than most. I'm a little slut for draft crushes. Apologies for my French, but let's have a look. Derek Harmon versus OSU 2024. We got the dodgy intro again, but that's by the by. That's fine. Is this the game yet? Yeah, it's Ohio State, isn't it? I keep forgetting what the abbreviations are. Mitchell was grabbed around mid-40s by you last year, so your stream of that draft was memorable between Hightower and Clayton Dawson's son. Yeah, it was a great year for the brand for about a month until it all went catastrophically tits up. I can tell you that much. Let's have a look then. I missed the arrow there. Did they put the arrow on? Have they put the arrow on this play? Have I missed? Here we go. All right, okay. So he's on the outside. He's a bigger boy. And he looked to even, and he's wearing BG's number, so that's an automatic win in my book. Moving outside. Look, before we've even got to anything, the schematic carryover between college and the NFL is really important. If you can play in something similar to what you would be drafted into, it takes so much of that burden off. Look at Brandon Graham and how his career almost faltered just because the scheme wasn't right and he took a little while to develop. For defensive ends and defensive tackles, it's so important. Like, if you're a space-eating defensive tackle and you get put into a system where you're expected to be a rampant pass rusher, it's not going to work. Leverages that really well. I actually really like that play. We're only one play in. Let me just go back and explain why. So he's going out here off the inside shoulder of the tackle. You've got a guard that's going to be coming out technically on a double team. And instead of going down the middle, what he's decided to do is go into the shoulder of the tackle and then use that momentum to like really charge into the chest of the guard. And that gives him some extra momentum. And the ball ultimately sails. That's subtlety. And that's the sort of thing I mean by pass rushing moves for a defensive tackle. I'm not talking swims and rips and clubs. Like, do you have the awareness to navigate different blocking situations? And with one play in, that's much better. Oh, I've hit the wrong button there out of sheer excitement. I think that was a huge get off there. Can he sustain it? It's not really too much going on with it, but now he's on the other side, so he's quite versatile. He's been lined up across the formation. Nothing burger on that play. We can go anywhere if both those safeties are off the board. Which ones are you talking about? Let me get them on my board, Tyrell. Let me get them on. Let me scout them for you on Wednesday. I'll take a look. We'll do some safeties on Wednesday, and we'll do a few more defensive tackles. We don't need linebackers now. Not now that Zach Vaughn's still here. Okay, right. That's an interesting play. Just because it's a rushing touchdown given up. Was he responsible for it? Kind of washed out, calmer back to the ball. It's not explicitly his fault. And at the end, he was able to like push forward, which was really cool. That was a really nice, touch at the end of the play. It obviously mattered for nothing, but the momentum to still drive the pile forward, not knowing where the running back is, you've still got that motor. Like, you haven't just died off mid-play and gone, oh, we've given up at the 1 yard line. Ah, fuck it, let them score. Like, you haven't done that. And that will count for a lot in the NFL. So that's a plus for motor for sure. Into a double team. There you go. Finally, after watching whatever Shamar Turner was trying to do, we look at a player who can beat a double team. And I'm not expecting miracles. I'm not expecting him to do it every single time. But just look at that. Yeah. Like it. Yeah. I'm getting the draft crush vibe. I can absolutely see why you'd be all in on him. And we get a closer look as well. Look at that. Let's get in there. Actually, I take it back. Oh, no. Did they circle the wrong player? Or was I looking at the wrong player? If I was looking at the wrong player, I like number 55. Yeah, I was... Oh, no. That is the right player. They've just circled the wrong one there. Campbell and Bourne would be so diabolical. Which Campbell? Let me know so I can take a look. Yeah, I like this Armand fella. Look at this. Sorry, but what in the Lionel Messi of footwork is this? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, he is all over my draft crush board. That is... Where is he projected to go? Where is he projected to go? Because if this isn't top 15, if this is anywhere below second round, get him. Get him in the... I don't care. If he is somehow on the board, Jihad Campbell. All right, I'll add him to my list now. Let me quickly do it now so I don't forget. And we'll do him on Wednesday. Jihad Campbell. Lovely. Maybe even tomorrow. Bill's at 28. Okay, that's a fourth fumble and a fumble recovery. Bill's at 28. That means he's gettable at 35. And that I can already see him grading probably 5-6 points higher here than what we just gave the last player, Nolan Ryan, whatever he was called. No, I'm joking. No, he's not called Nolan Ryan. But now I'm just always going to call him Nolan Ryan just because of that. That wasn't the worst player in the world. It certainly wasn't his best. But again, on the outside, for me, it's just the versatility. And then, oh, God almighty. Bear in mind, this is Ohio State as well. I mean, yeah, terrible job by the offensive line, but just the twitchiness off the line is incredible. He's a top 2 defensive tackle. He's top 1. Who's the other guy? Who's meant to be the other one? I love how I'm meant to be the analyst. Like I said, I don't do the draft stuff until now. Where I think there's something really nice about finding players together. And I feel like a lot of the time I can learn things from you guys as well. Because if you've done a lot more knowledge and a lot more digging, you can spot things I can't. And then tell me when I'm being absolutely delusional, when I'm losing my marbles, and maybe occasionally when I get something right. And I think it's just a really nice thing to be able to share. Like when there are so many players and so many opinions, like just forming your own in a room. It's like reading conference. You know, like you're in like school and you get asked to like analyze a poem and everyone's got a different view. It's the same sort of thing. And I think you just learn so much doing that way. And it's there's not much to learn here. This guy's just a monster. Absolute monster. Please keep that camera there. I want to see him. Oh, they haven't. I was going to say, I want to see him charge into that backfield, but a little bit stuck there. But I think that was just a clean blocking assignment. Mason Graham is DT1. Okay, right. So let's not do that. I have heard of Malachi Starks. That is a name I have heard of. Trayvon Walker, Malachi Starks, Malachi Moore, and the safety from Carolina. I'm not going to try to spell Greg's name. Well, you'll do a better job than me. I can guarantee you that. Trayvon Walker, I've heard of Malachi Starks. That name rings a bell. And Malachi Moore. You love your Malachi. Should we just do Malachi Black while we're here as well? Although he's probably going to change his name to Alistair Black now, isn't he? If you don't watch wrestling, that's been lost on you. I'm sorry. But, you know, we can talk about Malachi Black leaving AEW sometime because fumbled opportunity. Tremendous wrestler. And I hope he kind of has a resurgence in WWE if he does choose to go back there. Anyway, back to someone not named Malachi. Great pressure there. Couldn't quite bring him down, but really good penetration. Graham, ironically, is from Michigan. Who's Graham? Do I have a Graham? Which one's Graham? If you're looking for safeties and keeping on track with draft crashes, Kevin Winston Jr. Right, he's being added. Well, we've already got a lot of names, so I like where this is going. I've missed a Graham somewhere, but I appreciate you all for hopping in and giving me these names because it's a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. I love it. I've missed these streams so much, and I'm sorry I didn't get to do them sooner. It's just been a chaotic little period, and my body clock has just been all over the place. And yeah, just trying to find the time. Like I missed a bit earlier. I'll go back to it. The reality of what happened and why the stream stopped was that I was just ready to start again, maybe like a month after the Super Bowl, and the clocks went forward in America and they didn't hear, which meant I should have been streaming at 10 instead of 11, and my work day would start at like 1 instead of 2. And I don't know why that 1 hour made a difference, but like I didn't know what I was doing, and my body clock was all scuffed, and I'd be up till 8 in the morning one day, then I'd sleep in late, then I'd go to bed really early, and it's like I couldn't get. I don't know what happened because I've never had an issue with it before that bad. It's always been a problem when the clocks change, but I couldn't get my head around it. And that was that really. So now the English clocks went back yesterday. Like I finally got to. I was like, right now I can work my normal day, and now I can stream at this time. And yeah, it's really odd. I don't recommend working internationally for many people because it's such a pain in the backside at the best of times. Miss, which one was the earlier comment? Cameron, it's Graham. I'm looking for a comment for Graham. Bear with me. Where are we to? Where have you said Graham? I know he said it somewhere. I can't see Graham. I can't find a Graham. I'll go back and look in a minute. I don't want to be ignoring Derek Harmon because he might violently murder me just because he is. I would look. He could come up to me and say, "Give me £1,000." I'd give him 10. He's a bad man, and I want him on my team now. Just double team there. Get off it. Not quite. But just the athleticism off the line is outrageous. Mason Graham. Oh, I see. That was mentioned earlier. I'm just a bit slow. I apologize. I apologize. But yeah, this is. I'm really happy this is the player we're rounding out tonight's stream on because he is just a different beast, isn't he? A different beast altogether. Like the leverage he can have. He's honestly, you could put him at offensive tackle. I think he would almost be like just as impactful, just from his sheer size and agility. Like it's scary. He just scraped past 3 people there. Like I didn't get the pressure, but just the way he's able to move around that line is honestly so impressive. Keep in mind with Harmon, he will not be double teamed with Carter. Oh, could you have said a more saucy comment? Because I don't think you could have. I really don't think you could have. Donovan. All right, okay. Let me write these ones down. Hang on. What have we got? So we got Donovan Izukaru. Is that right? Izukaru. Siobhan Revel. And Josiah Scott. Cool. Well, now we've got a one hell of a list to get through. So plenty of players to lock into. Defensive tackle. Right. Third one of the day then. We're going with Derek Harmon. Oh, trying not to gush and just put 10s for everything. Pass rush moves. Look, it's that. I'm trying not to go 9.5. I'm trying not to go 9.5. But nah, he deserves it. That he does so much during a block to block shed. There is so much he brings to the table on that front that it's hard not to give him an extra bit of love. Get off is like a 9. The motor's about a 9. The power is about a 9. The agility is like probably an 8.5. Is that fair? Am I being too overzealous with that? I don't think so. I think that's pretty fair, and that's going to be far and away. But yeah, 45. So that's right in line with where you know, I would say a first-round pick should be. I think Walter Nolan could, based off of this is very loose because I try and get through as many players as we can in these streams. We watch one game or a few different videos just to get a rough gauge on the players' like strengths and weaknesses and stuff. I would put like, you know, 30 for me is like round 3, 4. That's probably round 2, fringe round 1, and that's like top 15. It's just interesting to see how close I can get when these players actually get drafted. I find it fascinating. But on that note, I do have to go very shortly, just because my body clock is I'm going to just start, what's the word? Stuttering everywhere. Because it's a little bit sleepy still, and just sort of like that. Although Derek Harmon's footage did wake me up a bit. I did wonder that about Josiah Scott as well. Josiah Stewart. Justice for Josiah Scott. What a baller he was. Sort of. Josiah Stewart. We'll go Stewart. It could be another Josiah Scott. You never know. He used to play for, was it USC he used to play for? Oh, no, it was Iowa State, wasn't it? Or something like the red one. Josiah Scott. It was the red one. Michigan State. It was close. It was close. We're the Steelers now. Made 2 tackles. There you go. So he's still in the league. So fair play to Josiah Stewart. Can't believe we didn't mention James Pierce Jr. Right, we're getting him in. James Pierce Jr. Any other players before I call it a night, fellas? Is there anyone you would like to add to the list? And don't worry, Tyrell, you're all good. Like I said, I mean, I'm just as bad with names. So you're coming from a guy that... Oh, who was the name I really struggled with? Ineas Smith. I still can't pronounce that right. All anyone does is have a go at me for Ineas Smith. So, you know, don't worry about it. It's all good. Everyone's like, it's Aeneas. It's Aeneas. And I'm like, just calling him Smith. I'm just calling him Smith. I hope he has a good year next year. I wish there was some more film to go off other than just preseason, because he didn't really do much in the regular year. What's up, Dirk? Oh, he's coming just as I'm saying bye. I'm heartbroken. Damn it. Absolutely gutted. We don't need him. If I get Danny Stutzman, day 3. Dirk, before you go, any NFL prospects you would like me to look at over the coming weeks? Shamar Stewart. That's another Shamar. Hopefully he was better than the last one we looked at. No, I will not be mean. But yeah, there we go. That's cool. So we'll wait for a few more just in case you guys want me to top this up. We're up to 19. So I reckon we can probably do... Oh, how long have we got to the draft? It's like 28th of April, is it? Something like that? I still don't know. Oh, no, not NFLDraftBuzz.com. I just want the NFL draft date. Oh, now it's on here. God damn it. 24th. Okay, so you've got a little less than a month. So in 3 weeks of streams, I reckon we can get through like maybe 40 players if we're lucky. 30, 40 players. Lots of athleticism, little production. Sounds just like the John Hightower high crush I need in my life. I will put him straight in. And on that note, guys, I will have to love you and leave you, but I will be back on Wednesday again to do this again. And hopefully I'll do a little bit of a longer one and we can look at maybe 4 or 5 players, get some more grades on the board. So just to recap, Shamar Turner is who we started with. Don't bother. Walter Nolan could be a good value pick if he slips down out of the second, I would say, is where, like, you know, really gonna, or bottom of the second for the Eagles case for sure. But there's no way he makes it to the end of the third. And then Derek Harmon, 45. Easily the best prospect that we've looked at tonight. And the standout, surefire first round selection. JT Tuimalu. He's falling off, and I don't get why. He's now borderline 3rd round pick. That one's intriguing. I'm going to put an asterisk next to that, because that one, there's a bit of a narrative there, and I like that. Let's see if we can find some value on Wednesday. We will open up with Halapulavati Vaitais, and a name that's similar to his is going to confuse me because I can't pronounce it, is what I'm trying to say. It was a terribly worded joke. JT Tuimalu? Is it Tuimalu? Tuimo. Yeah, it must be Tuimo now. It's not as bad as Halapulavati Vaitai. Trying to type out Halapulavati Vaitai for about 2 years. Honestly, I felt like a genius after that. I felt like I could had it on auto correct. I just type the word H for hello, and it'd come out Halapulavati, and I was like, okay, we take it. So yeah, I'm intrigued about that. I want to see why it's falling off and if there is some value. But again, I won't be streaming on Friday just because I'll be in London for 30th birthday celebrations, which isn't till Sunday. But you know, we can't celebrate Sundays unless the Eagles win a Super Bowl. So they've done that. But yeah, I'll be here on Wednesday so we can go through some more prospects and dive into this list. Thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate every single one of you. If you could, on your way out, leave a like on the stream, that would be absolutely sensational. And until next time, go Birds. Thank you for the happy birthday wish, my friend. I'll see you soon. I saw that comment, and I'm just coming back to say you're absolutely right. See you later.